Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Welcome to the Sunday chat. News and views and possibly some orchid stuff. It's the one video where you can't guarantee it's about orchids. Under normal circumstances, if I do a video about something like a kit or something like that, I usually put not orchids in the top of the description somewhere. But the Sunday chat varies, it wanders off in all directions sometimes, depends how I feel and what's going on. News and views, well, what's going on in the world at the moment? There are some changes, but you could just say it's same old, same old. It's the same old naughty people doing naughty things, and the same people thinking they can police the whole world. It would be actually great if they really could, because that would stop all the naughty people, wouldn't it? But at what point does policing the world become a naughty person? But, you know, there are some regimes and things that could do with stopping. I'm not sure it's up to somebody else to do it. It can't always be done from inside a country, that's the problem. Anyway, we haven't got a revolution in this country yet, but the mindset is there. That's a strange thing to say about us reserved, calm and collected English people, but the mindset's there because people are getting wound up, people are getting annoyed. This government is not doing what they promised to do, which is why they got elected. Well, in conjunction with the previous lot, not doing very well, shall we say. And half of their problem was not being able to have a decent leader. You know, they dumped probably the best one they had, and then just found useless people who just couldn't do the job. Yeah, our country's in a bit of a pickle, along with some others, I'm sure, but the main thing that's winding people up is that they see people who come to the country illegally getting far more than they have got when they go out to work all day. Yeah, they work hard to pay their rent, pay their mortgage, try and keep a roof over their head, try and feed their kids. And times are hard for a lot of people, and yet some people are freeloaders. Yeah, just freeloaders, and that's one thing that's winding people up. But the very fact that times are hard, this is what's, for me, difficult to understand. We're supposed to be something like the 6th wealthiest nation in the world. Well, where's all the money then? You know, they're not spending it on the roads. You know, you've got potholes big enough to lose your front wheel in. You know, makes you wonder what they are spending it on, apart from their salaries, and their expenses. Anyway, those things just carry on. Nothing seems to change. Doesn't seem to get any better. It can get worse. You know, as we are in this country, it can still get worse. I think that with the mindset, there will be a final straw. Something is going to trigger a mass riot. Now, this country is policed almost by consent. In London, you can gather by bringing people in an awful lot of police, and we have seen an awful lot of police to police a protest. 1,000 police. You got 10,000 in the protest, and that protest decide to trigger, the police lose. There aren't armed police in this country, generally speaking. They can call in some, but you can't start shooting ordinary people. We can't in this country anyway. It seems you can in some others, but not here, not yet. I don't know. I don't know where it'll all end. I'd like to think there will be another election in this country prior to when the next one's due to the failure or failures, multiple, of what's going on with the current one. The problem we've got is a lot blame the leader. If they change the leader now, part way through a term, I'm not sure whether that would do them any good. I'm not sure there's anything can do them any good. I think the damage has been done. And the trouble is, it won't be forgotten. It'll be remembered. All the promises that were made and haven't been kept in the main. And nobody likes sneakiness. They said they would not raise the taxes for working people. We didn't raise the taxes, we raised the rate. What's the net result? People are paying more tax. Nobody likes sneakiness. Nobody likes trying to worm their way out of breaking a promise. So I think their time will come. And hopefully it'll be before the next election's due. I might not be around that long. We shall see. Do you know, I might even go and vote this time, because I don't vote. I find it, personally, I find it a waste of time. Because in this area, it never seems to make much difference, if you know what I mean. And it never, the trouble is with the voting in this country, you vote for somebody just down the road that affects the whole country, because they become one of the many. But you can't vote for the one that's going to lead and decide what goes on. You can't actually vote for that person. You can only vote for your little man or woman up the road, which seems odd, but that's the system we've got at the moment. That's something that could do with changing, is the system. You know, that might help. If the system changed, then the current lot would not get in next time. The lot that were in before them probably wouldn't get in next time. And that doesn't leave much else. But, you know, we've had a two-party system for a long time now, and I think people have had enough of it. You know, as The Who said in a very famous song, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Welcome to the revolution. Right, that's that out the window. We've done all that now. That's made the world so much better. That chance. What's going on in here? Very little. It's a very quiet. I don't remember previous winters being as quiet as this, but what I do remember about previous winters is quite a few losses due to rot. And I'm not getting them anywhere near as much this year. I've only had a couple, and that is directly due to not watering as often, because we've got short amounts of daylight, dull days in amongst that, which, you know, leaves plants not growing much at all, and they don't need the water, so they're not getting it. And I sometimes, you know, I look at my notes sometimes and think, God, I haven't watered those flipping orchids for 10 days now, because I would never have gone that long in previous winters. And then I go round and I think, well, there's nothing wrong with these plants. They're fine. They're not all shriveled up, not dropping dead left, right and centre. And I think a little bit too much water in the cold temperatures with the short day lengths where nothing grows much does more harm than good. So that's changed quite a bit this year. It seems to be working. I've still got plants that are rescue plants that are not doing very well. They went into the winter. They spent most of last year being rescue plants, and they're not picking up. That's unfortunately the type of weather that we get in this country. Without the daylight, you know, without the amount of daylight that's needed, which is more than we've got at the moment, and some better daytime temperatures, then everything just sits there, and stuff doesn't recover very well. Now, I've had my central heating on in the house for the whole of this year, 24/7. I've never had to do that before. It's just been so cold. And because I pay a monthly fee into the company that supplies my energy, and the fee during the summer is far too high, but it puts a credit in there for the winter months. Now, where I changed supplier beginning of December, which coincides with when I moved in, 4 and a bit years ago now, I changed suppliers, and the old supplier had to give me the money back that I saved up, you know, by paying a bit too much in the summer months for the winter. They paid it back direct. So I've got like that sitting available to be able to keep warm this year, because the company I'm with now, it's a bit cheaper. It's not a lot cheaper, but it is cheaper. So, which is why I changed. Otherwise I'd have stayed where I was. But yeah, so I hadn't had a bill yet. They took over on the 13th, so I'm expecting a bill very soon, whatever it is now, 10th, 11th I believe. So I'm expecting a bill very, very soon, and I've paid them one direct debit so far. The next one isn't due till the 2nd of February. What I don't want them to do is put up my direct debit because there's a shortfall. So I might actually use some of that credit that I've got and actually put a direct payment on the account, so that when the bill comes up, it's in hand. Because if the bill comes in and it puts me in quite a bit of debt, they will bump up my direct debit. And then I'm stuck with that, because once they put it up, it's very difficult to get them to put it down again. I wonder why. They reckon there's millions and millions and millions of pounds of people's money sat in accounts in the energy companies as credits because they've charged too much, and they just sit on it. They won't give it back to you. You can ask for it back, and they are obliged to give it back, providing it doesn't leave you in debt. And if you change companies, they're obliged to pay it back within a certain time scale, which my company did. You know, the old company paid up very quickly. I was very surprised. Didn't have to ask for it. It was automatically done. All the meter readings, the whole thing was completely transparent. All I did was sign up with a new company and stand well back, and it just all happened. Very, very pleased, very well pleased. No hassles, no phone calls, no sitting on hold for 20 minutes listening to crap music. Why can't they get some decent music? Bearing in mind you don't want to be there, you don't want to sit there using your phone bill, holding, waiting to speak to what will probably be a bot, and then you've got to go through a menu system about 8 layers deep to finally get a person, and then you get cut off. Customer service is not what it once was. Never mind. Yeah, so my workload out here is minimal. I should water my mounts today, but I won't. I should wait till tomorrow, which is my day off filming, but not my day off work. You know, I can still do some work out here. Now the weather has broken. Well, it's in the throes of doing it. There's a low pressure going across, which has got heavy rain on it. That's going to be worse up north. But it's hitting very cold air, and it's turning to snow, and in some places they're going to get a lot of snow for a while, followed by rain, which means it's not going to be there long, and that rain is going to come in and do a massive thaw on the snow we've already had, that's now getting dumped on top of, to about to become quite a big thaw, which could cause some flooding in places. I think the only people that are pleased about the amount of snow we've had are the ski resorts up in Scotland. There aren't many, there's only a couple. They do okay because they do get some snow, but they get a lot of times when there isn't any, you know. So, you know, I just imagine local people know when there's snow on the resorts and they can go and hire some kit and have a day skiing and really enjoy themselves. And then they might have to wait till next year before they can go again. It's that bad sometimes. But this year there's been a lot of snow around. And this low pressure coming in now, we'll see the end of it. It will be gone. And the temperatures are coming up to go with it. So I think I will probably turn my central heating off this evening for the first time this year. The problem was, what I was finding with the really low temperatures is that if I turned it off, the house dropped down so low overnight, it really had to work hard to get it up to anywhere near comfortable again. And it used more energy trying to do that than I saved by turning it off. So leaving it on was the cheaper option. And it also meant that the kit out here didn't have to come on. Only very rarely, but not often at all, because that's the most expensive item I've got. 2 kilowatt fan heater, you know, uses quite a lot of juice, and it comes on with the big circulating fan at the same time. So keeping that off is good. But yeah, so we might resort to normal tonight, which is shut the door when I go to bed, turn the central heating off, and then as this temperature drops down overnight, it'll get to the point where this heater will be required on and off until I get up in the morning and warm the house up and let some more heat out. And that's how I normally run it. But we'll see how it goes. But apparently, if not tomorrow morning, the morning after, the morning temperature is going to be warmer than we've had during the day this year. And that's going to be the dawn temperature, you know, the coldest point. Yeah. So it's all change. It's raining at the moment, but it's just drizzly. Might just be able to hear it in the background. It's not heavy rain, it's just light rain. But it's good really, because I mean that'll get the bonsai watered and everything. And as the temperatures rise now, quite a lot of the bulbs and things in the garden will start to move, because although they may have poked through the ground, they've just stopped dead because they've had frost on them virtually for a week or more. Yeah, more. But when I got up this morning and looked out the window, for the first time for quite a while the bird bath was actually water rather than ice. So that's a way of telling the temperature's obviously rising. So we'll see how it goes, but it's still only January. It's not even the middle of January yet. So, but a long time to go before temperatures become comfortable, guaranteed. But we'll see how we go. Now, on the Sunday chat, I do make references sometimes to other videos that I've done. So for people who watch all the videos, or most of the videos, they know what I'm talking about. Some other people might not. If you dropped in on one of these videos cold, you know, not knowing anything about the channel, you might not understand some of what I say. What's he on about now? But basically, I haven't had an answer from Sarah yet about a potential visit Wednesday or Thursday this week. But obviously I will let you know when I hear, one way or the other. Oh, I love it when it, sorry. Whenever I see scale on the cymbidiums, I like to try and rub them off. And there was just an odd one on the leaf there, and I just touched it and it was like dust, it just came straight off. So I think they've had their day, but I really do need to have a clean up at some point. You've got, out of the corner of the screen, you've got the nice yellow one up here. This is doing well, this one. That's got 3 spikes open at the moment. One of them's only just opened, whereas that one I've just pulled down, the biggest, has been open a while now. And when those 3 are gone, I think that's it. We'll probably come back into growth then. But, yeah, I mean, oh, I know what, I'll stick it on the end. I've done a couple of Pleone visit videos recently because it's the time of year to be sort of looking at those and thinking about what you're going to do and stuff. And for me there was a lot of thinking to do because they're a new genus. This is my first year bringing them out of dormancy and everything. But somebody said, you've done some Pleone videos and you didn't put any pictures up. So I'll apologise for that, because usually when I'm talking about a particular plant, you know, where I'm doing an actual piece on the plant, I normally put the name up, you know, so you can actually, because holding the label up sometimes it doesn't focus very well. Tag, sorry. Different countries call them different things, but most people call them tags nowadays. Yeah, so I forgot to put the pictures up, so I'm going to put them up at the end. So there'll be just a bit on the end. I've got 4 Pleone types, and I do actually have a picture of all 4 of them. Sometimes I get a plant that's in bloom, and I buy it in bloom, and the blooms don't last long. And I haven't got a picture, because I've forgotten to get a picture sorted out. And so, you know, when I'm talking about that plant and it's not in bloom, I can't do the pop-up with the picture, because I haven't got one. There's not many plants in the grow room like that. Most of them have got pictures. What I do actually is when I video them, you know, when I get a plant and I video the blooms, I take a still off the video. So some plants that I haven't got a picture of, I could go back to the video of when I got them if they were in bloom and actually create a still. I could download it from YouTube, or just take a Windows picture snap, whatever they're called, print screen. I'll get there in a minute. Yeah, I could do a print screen and then photo edit that and get a decent picture from that. But there aren't many of the orchids in here that have bloomed for me that I haven't actually got pictures of the blooms. But yeah, so I'll put the Pleone blooms up there. Now we've done some potting. We've done some repotting, and the potting video that I did, this doesn't happen often, but it happened on this one. I started looking at the plants in my tray and talking about them, and I hadn't moved the camera. The camera was still at head height. So I'm doing all this grubbing about with my hands and my arms are moving and everything, and all you got to look at was me. Sorry about that. Doesn't happen often. I just forgot to move the camera. However, that video was a lot longer than that, than the one I actually published, and the tail end of it I've done as a separate video completely. And in that one we did remember to move the camera down, and that's the repotting. So the one that we've done so far was potting up the bare rooted ones, and then the last one for some considerable time, what do you mean, thank goodness for that, is the repotting. So that would be the Pleones that I got from Mathers that were in pots, and I've actually repotted them into my media and some different pots because they were in totally rubbish pots, and they'll have enough room to grow now this year. One last snippet of information that may be true and may not be true, and I don't know yet. When we were looking at the new growths coming off the bulbs, some of them were like shoots with green tips, and some of them were sort of hugging the bulb with a sort of brownish sheath on them. Now somebody has suggested that those are actually flower spikes, and the others are shoots that will just become a leaf and a new bulb. There may be a difference, because like anybody who's had anything to do with cymbidiums, as the growths move and start to push on, there becomes a distinct difference between what is a new growth and what is a flower spike. And when they're only that big, it's difficult to tell, but when they're that big, it's easy. So we'll find out whether that's true or not. I don't know. I'm new to the genus. Once I know, you can't unknow something, can you? I remember somebody said, it was in a discussion, I won't call it an argument, but it was a discussion on religious things, And somebody said, once you believe, you can't unbelieve. And I said, yes you can. You can get some common sense, if that's the way you think. But yeah, the only thing I can't stand, I don't mind somebody being religious, I don't even care what religion they choose. To me, they're all as daft as each other and all as pointless. But if you believe in something like that, and you decided that as an adult, then you get a bit of admiration for making that decision and making that choice. It's not a choice I'll ever make, and I'm happy with people who've done that. They've got totally different views to me. Well, so what? There's nothing wrong with that, is there? As long as your belief doesn't do harm to others. That's the only thing that I would say. And some religions truly are peaceful. Some are based on all life is precious. What can be wrong with that? Yeah. Others not so much. Yeah, all life is precious as long as it's our life and yours don't matter. Still, I don't go down that road. I don't have anything to do with it all. So I just stay out of it best I can. But I have had some friends in the past, none now, these are people that have passed away or completely lost touch with, that were very religious people, you know, did the church thing and everything, and went to Bible studies and did all that sort of stuff. But it's just not something that's ever appealed to me. Anyway, back to the orchids, because I do wander off a bit, don't I? Yeah, generally speaking, stuff is doing okay. Stuff is doing okay. But not everything. As I said, we got some, you know, I mean, my hibiki was a stunning plant, got a first at the Orchid Society on the competition table. It wouldn't even come in last now, it would be less than last. It was in a hell of a state. And it looks like it's dead or dying, and it doesn't look like it'll recover. But I've just got a feeling it might. So it's still here, still got some flowers on, and it's still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 green leaves. I keep talking about it, I can pick it up, it's only here. But those of you who follow the channel will know what this looked like once upon a time. And now it looks like that. It's lost its leaves. Quite a few of the canes started to rot. The rot stopped. There's no more rotten ones now. We've still got some green leaves. We've still got a cane growing here. Got a cane growing here. And a couple of kikis pushing out. So it's not actually dead. Not far off. And it doesn't get much water now. There's obviously to water it. It's in quite a deep pot. And to water this, I've got to pour water over the plant to get it in the pot. The only other way I could do it would be to sink the pot in water. It's a lot of faff, isn't it? Yeah, so I've got to go careful about getting the top of the plant wet. Because obviously if it's prone to rotting at the moment, then pouring water over it's not going to do it much good, is it? But if the worst comes to the worst, I will rescue the kikis, which have good roots, and start a new plant. But this has been a stunning plant, and now it isn't. And this is the 4th one I believe I've had, and every single one has done the same thing. I didn't think this one would, but it seems to follow the path. They bloom themselves to death. The blooms last absolutely ages. I don't know how long that one was in bloom, well, it's still in bloom, but a very, very long time. You're looking 4, 5, 6 months of blooming, and that had a lot of blooms this time round, yeah? And that obviously saps the strength of the plant, and to support those blooms over that length of time. But the previous 3 bloomed themselves to death. They bloomed okay, then they died. But, tried them mounted, tried them in a pot. This one did absolutely brilliantly in the pot. But now it isn't. And the media's starting to get a bit old and tired now, so it needs a repot as well. That may be its downfall, so I am waiting for more day lengths and a little bit better daytime temperatures. Problem being is that it's a primary cross hibiki, and the two component parts are warmer growers. So maybe that was its downfall. Blooming in the warmer temperatures was okay, and then the amount of daylight shrinks right down and the temperatures shrink right down while it's still in full bloom. And that could have been just too much for it. Pushed it over the edge, as they say. Anyway, so that's that. My Disas are growing, those that I've got left. They seem to be going to make it, and I'm pretty sure we will get some blooms on them. So we will get some decent blooms. I'm not going mad getting loads more. They are a bit of a faff. I mean, they do need to go outside during the summer months because it would be too warm for them in here. The Pleonies might end up going outside for the summer months. They go along this, somewhere here in this corner, and they won't get any direct sun on them. But there are times when we get heat waves where it's actually a lot warmer out there than it is in here. And I don't want to be bothering with having plants outside that have to come back in to try and keep them cooler, if you see what I mean. Rather they stayed in here and just put up with the temperatures I've got. But we shall see. Not decided yet, but nothing will be going outside until the threat of frost has gone, which is like, well, at least the beginning of May, so there's plenty of time. And I've already made the decision, the Cymbidiums are not going outside. They've done as well this year, if not better, and I think they've done better personally, and that's because they spent the previous year, growing season, in here getting fed and watered on a regular basis and didn't sit outside getting rained on, putting up with heat waves, all that sort of stuff. They had a more constant environment and a regular supply of nutrients, and I think that's why they've grown better and bloomed better. So they stay in from now on, despite taking up half the flipping grow room. There's 6 plants on the top of this staging, take up more room than 2 lots of shelves with, 30, 40 plants on. So they do take up a lot of room. So anyway, what it does give me is a bottom shelf, and once there's a couple of Cymbidiums, once the blooms have gone, they can go on that bottom shelf. And in addition to that, it's a relatively shady shelf because of the Cymbidiums on the top shelf. So I've got room for more shadier growers, perhaps Masdevallias or something like that could go down there. But I don't think I'm going to be going mad buying lots of orchids this year. A lot of my shelves are full now. They don't have a lot of room for more plants. There's room down here. I could get another 2 or 3 plants on that shelf at least. That Masdevallia shelf's full. That Coelogene shelf's full, so is this one. This little shelf here could have some more on. I'm not putting any plants on that shelf in that bit because that's my view through to the bird feeders. So I know it seems daft leaving the shelf half empty because of the view, but what's the point in having the bird feeders if I can't see the birds from the place that I spend a fair bit of my time on? So we won't be doing that. Yes, so workload down, and I think that is part and parcel of getting my head round this environment compared to the previous place, which was totally different. This is such a dramatic change coming here. And the first couple of years, well, I came here in the middle of winter, moved in December, and that winter lost some plants. They didn't take kindly to the move, and they didn't take kindly to the drop in temperatures. So that didn't do them any good. And a great reduction in winter light, because around the other place I used to get the sun in through the glass. So they got in really bright winter sun directly on them. You know, the warmth that generated and everything, all that was lost when I came here. And I didn't appreciate the dramatic change that actually did. So the following winter we lost more plants because I still hadn't got the hang of it. But the two things that I've changed that I think have solved most of the problems of getting my plants through the winter here is keeping the humidity down and the watering frequency. And the combination of those two seems to have just settled the plants into a semi-dormant state. They're not really growing much, but they're not going downhill. They're just on hold. And then as the amount of daylight increases and we get better daytime temperatures, they should start to move again. But I also get a much shorter growing season here, because round the other place the winter sun would start to climb and generate a bit more heat and brighter light and all that sort of stuff. I don't get that change here. I don't get the sun on the roof until the end of April. That's a long wait to get that extra brighter light. Up until then it's just as it is now. But yeah, and the daytime temperatures are lower throughout the year. But I can't afford to heat the daytime temperatures through the winter. I can't really afford to just keep the nighttime temperatures at my minimum, which is 12 degrees. Can only just manage that. But we do manage. Now I've been naughty, I haven't checked for members. So I'm just going to break off for a minute and go and do that, because what I don't ever want to do is have a new member that doesn't get mentioned. That's not on, so I'll be back. Oh, it's a good job I went and looked. I'll do that in a minute. Mojo's just woken up. He's sat on his chair. I have obviously my workstation where my laptop and everything is normal table height. And that's too big a jump for him to get up and down, although he does jump down the other side sometimes. So I've got one of the dining chairs sat next to it so that he can jump from the floor to that and then from there up onto the table. So he likes to spend time up there. He has a fuss and that when I'm working. I'm trying to eat my breakfast. It's the only time I don't sit up to the table properly for a meal. I had my breakfast while I'm working, so because I'm usually still working at that time of day, from silly o'clock when I get up. Right, stuff coming up. We have cat hair floating in the air. They do that. Isn't it funny? It's as though your nose has got a magnet. From nowhere they drift around aimlessly like that, and whap, right on your nose. Itch, itch, itch. Right, things coming up. This coming weekend, Hannah's down, so that will be a quiet weekend for videos. Mind you, most of the time is quiet for videos at the moment because there's not much going on. We've had a little flurry of activity with the Pleonies, but that's over now. I do have that one outstanding video which I will post during the week. Leave a reasonable gap from the last one, obviously, otherwise it'll be all the same, won't it? But otherwise there's not going to be much going on at all work-wise, you know, actual things like potting or mounting or repotting, that sort of stuff. There's not much going on at all. Wrong time of year. That happens every winter. Yes, so, and then the following weekend I've got Orchid Society meeting. That'll be, is it the following weekend? No, the following weekend is a Bonsai Society meeting, Sunday morning. Now, I've decided I'm not going to join, I'm just going to go when I can. Because it's on a Sunday morning, I do get some big events that happen on Saturdays. And if I've had a big event, I'm usually just too tired to be starting to load up trees in cars and stuff like that on the Sunday, so I don't go. So I won't join, I'll just pay each time I go. But yes, so that weekend I've got the Bonsai Society on the Sunday morning. It's the last Sunday of the month, but it's actually like 6 days before the end of the month. Something like that anyway. So I've got a couple of trees I want to get rid of, so I shall sell those for whatever somebody wants to pay. I'm not asking a silly price for them because I don't want them. They're work, they have to be watered, they have to be looked after, and I don't like them, so I don't want them. So those can go, and somebody still owes me a bit of money from the last couple that I sold, because they wanted them, but they didn't have enough money, actual cash on them, so they paid what they had and they still owe me a bit. So that'll sort that out, and I will take at least one tree in with me to work on, but I might try and film. I haven't done it yet, but I'd have to ask permission, and I'd have to have a corner in the room whereby I could put the tripod in front of the table, filming towards me, and there won't be anything or anybody behind me then. Yeah? So I may be able to film. I obviously won't be able to keep the soundtrack, so I might be able to do a bit of filming there, because the Bonsai and Garden channel just gets nothing on it at the moment. There's nothing going on, you know. There's just nothing going on. I can, you know, just point the camera at the garden and say, here is my garden. We need to have something going on, don't we? And there isn't anything at the moment. And then the following weekend after that, we're going 2 weeks ahead now, 3 weeks ahead, is a Orchid Society meeting. So we shall see. And we do have a potential visit this coming week, depending on the response I get from Sarah. I'm not taking that journey blind. I'm not going to go there on the pretense of what I want when I get there, without Sarah saying it's okay, if you see what I mean. Otherwise it's just a normal visit, and this time of year it's just not worth it, because the weather's just going to be on and off rain this coming week. Mild, you know, but a bit blustery and lots of showers around, so that makes it not a very interesting journey, because the scenery on the journey is magnificent, not if it's all cloudy and, you know, mucky weather. So we shall see. Yeah, so that's the sort of things that are coming up. But the shows, the Orchid shows, start in February, which will start with the Bournemouth Orchid Society, which is just up the road from me. That's my local one. I suspect Hannah will come down for that weekend. So there's that. That's the last Saturday in February. And then my Orchid Society show is the second Sunday in March. Then the weekend after that is Wisley, the Wisley show, which I will be going to. Hannah may come along, I don't know yet. And then not long after that is my visit to Mathers, the Mathers Foundation again. I go every year, even though a lot of the time it's the same things I see. I don't care, it's just a nice day out. Let me just let Matey out. Come on then, you won't stay out long, it's not nice out there. He's hovering, he's thinking, do I really need to bother? And he's decided yes he does. He won't stop out there long. But I give him his due when I'm up, you know, when he can go out to go, he does. He's good like that. Even when it's raining quite hard, he goes out, he trots off to somewhere where he can get under cover, like under the hedge or something. Then he trots back up to the door, and if I don't open it straight away, he lets me know he's there. Along with all the neighbours, I think. Right, that will do. The one thing I did want to show, because I do normally try and show a few orchids, is this. This is one of the few orchid types that I only have one of, and this is my Sarcochilus, and this spike has started to grow quite rapidly now because it's sat there doing nothing for some time, and I'm pretty sure I've got another spike somewhere. Sure I saw another one when I was watering. Maybe not. Well, if there is another one, I can't see it now. Perhaps not. It might have been those little tiny seedling leaves down the base of that thing that I was looking at in the poor light. No, just the one. One's good. We'll live with one for now. The plant's coming on. It's growing reasonably well. I'm quite pleased with the progress on this. I do believe, yeah, we got some root activity as well, which is good because they can lose their roots, they can rot. They are cool growers, but they don't like being wet when they're not growing, and they do tend to go a bit quiet in the winter time. So, and that's probably the amount of daylight they get that slows them down here in this country. Not that you can get hold of those very easily in this country. I think Burnham's have got a couple. I don't think they've got hybrids. They might have a couple lurking, but generally you can get Hartmannii and Fitzgeraldii, which is the one I've got from Burnham's. But they don't bring them to shows unless they're actually in flower. Come on then. Right, so I go and settle down and go back to sleep. This is the bit that's not so good. If he does that in the evening when it's really miserable and wet and horrible out there, first thing he does is come back in and jump up and sit on my lap, and I've got big wet paw prints all over my jeans. Tyke. It dries out pretty quick. Right, well, it's cold now, so we've obviously been going a long time. Oh, it's no good looking at that because I had a break, didn't I? So that doesn't tell me how long I've been going. It only gives me the latest little section. Now, thank yous. We always do thank yous on Sunday, and I'm sure regular viewers and people who've been with the channel sometime clear off now. Well, don't forget we've still got to have a look at the peony blooms. I'll add those on the end. But thank yous. This goes across the board. Anybody who's watched the video or is watching a video, thank you, because that supports the channel. And all I ask is for people to try and support the channel when they've got the time, because to support the channel you can do it financially and walk away, but to support it free you tend to need to watch some videos which uses your own personal time. So, you know, that's what I'm asking for. Minimum you can do, watch some videos, get some adverts in there somewhere, unless you're on premium, in which case you've already contributed to my channel by being a premium YouTube member, because what you pay to YouTube gets split up and shared amongst all the people who are in the monetization program like me, and YouTube pays some out. Not as much as it could do, tight lot. But they supply the platform. They supply the platform which supplies the audience, and they do it for free. I get to make videos and post them on YouTube for nothing. There's no charge, and I do get some back. So that's the way it works. And so watching the videos, thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and watch some adverts. And don't forget the hype. That's a new thing that YouTube have offered, which applies to my channel, because I'm under 500,000 subscribers and always will be. So the hype can be done on my videos. You get 3 a week. Don't waste them, use them. If you can get at it, mobile phone, latest YouTube app, if you can get at it, use them. They help the channels that you watch. Doesn't have to be mine, but you know. So there's that, and then there's the membership things which I want to get on to. You can become a matron on the. You can become a member on the Patreon site. The link to that and YouTube and my Facebook group, all the links are in the descriptions of every video. It's not unique to this video, they're on every video. They're preloaded basically. But yes, you can join on the Patreon site. From my point of view, it's better to be a member over there. It's better for you, you get a few extra videos. Because basically I load the Sunday chat on Patreon and that becomes an ad-free version of the one that's on YouTube, which has got ads on it obviously, plus the normal members only videos. And also they don't take as much for the privilege, so more comes to the channel to help support the channel. But I have heard that they don't accommodate all of the payment methods that people might want to use. So some people have gone over there to try and join and failed because they didn't have a payment method that site uses. I haven't looked into that in great detail. But then we've got the membership of the YouTube channel. Again, the link is around. And on that subject we have effectively what shows in my stats, because the stats for memberships on YouTube have been upgraded. They now give me more detail than they used to. They still don't tell me if somebody leaves. But with the number of members I've got, I could work that out if I wanted to. Because I haven't got enough, you know, if I had hundreds and hundreds or thousands of members and one left, I'd never find out who it was. But you know, when you've got less than 20, I can remember them, so I would know if somebody went missing. It happens, you know, so whatever. But what we've got this time round is we've got somebody has rejoined. So this is somebody that left a while ago and has come back, and that's nice. And I can't imagine they come from this country. We've got Cameron von Niederhausen, and I hope I've said that somewhere near right. It won't be spot on, but that's that one. And then we've got somebody that's actually upgraded. Now I would never have known that before because the stats didn't show that sort of thing. So that's somebody that's gone from one tier to a higher tier. And I think to do that, I'm not sure you can. You might be able to change it without leaving, but I was under the impression, perhaps that's on the Patreon site, that you had to come out and come back in at a different level. Anyway, that's what's happened. And that is a name that again is not from this country, and I'm going to spell this because I'm not going to attempt to say it because the letters are not letters that would go together in my language. We've got K-J-E-L-D. Now I don't know how to say that. I'd make a right pig's ear of it. But the second part is Hansen. I can cope with that. But the actual channel name is Games That Are Fun and Horror. Which is what will go in the roll call at the end, because I use the channel names at the end. Yeah, so we've had somebody rejoin and we've had somebody that's upgraded and gone to a higher tier. Greatly appreciated in both cases, as is all the existing members that are hanging in there. So thanks a bunch for that. As I said, all of the donations that come in via whatever method, they all go into what I call a pot of gold that gets used for kit, new orchids, travel expenses to go to shows, all that sort of stuff, the running of this place to keep it going, to enable me to make the videos. because without this we haven't got a channel, have we? So it all goes around in a big circle, and it all helps, it really does. And the other thing I must say is somebody, I haven't got the name, but somebody made a very, very generous donation to my energy bill as a, what are they called? Super comment or something. But you see them occasionally on channels, occasionally on mine, where the comment has got a bright coloured banner at the top with an amount of money on it. And this was an incredibly generous donation. I believe it was Canadian dollars. So presumably somebody in Canada, but I didn't catch the name. So and that's gone because it was on a previous video back in the week sometime. But thanks a bunch for that. In fact, I think it might have followed last Sunday, so it could have been Monday or Tuesday that comment came in. But greatly appreciated. You know, that's put a good bit in the pot. So yeah, wonderful stuff. And that'll do for today. That's already a long video, I'm sure. And hopefully the people who say they like the long videos are still putting up with the long videos. It's not very often a work video will be ridiculously long, but I tend to try and keep the Sunday chats under an hour. I don't always succeed, and somewhere between 40 and 50 minutes is average, so that's what you get on a Sunday chat. But this one is now coming to a conclusion, so I will sign off and I will leave you with the pictures, names and pictures of the 4 Pleone types that I've got so far. And that I am saying, because with the Disas I may well stick with what I've got unless somebody puts one under my nose. That's a different thing. But with the Pleones I am probably going to expand the collection. They are so easy to look after, quite honestly. Well, they spend 4 months of the year doing absolutely nothing. They're totally dormant, you know. That's not bad, is it? Anyway, thanks for dropping by. Thanks for supporting the channel in whatever way you do. And I will see you next time. We'll end with some pretty pictures. Bye for now.